banking crisis might not actually be over. So today we have to talk about how the banking crisis have been for the past week or even the past month. So I'm pretty sure that we all already knew what happened with Silicon Valley Bank. So earlier today we actually had news that First Citizens, which is basically a bank in North Carolina, came up to actually buy up all of their deposits, their loans, and all those things of SVB. But of course, we also have to talk about what happened on Friday, which is Deutsche Bank themselves also got hit with a lot of investors' panic. So we have to talk about what this actually means for the entire banking industry. Is this going to be a very, very scary place for banking? And is this actually a chance for crypto to come up on the shore? So let's talk about banking first of all. Okay, so with what SVB actually showed us, where banking might actually be a lot more fragile than we actually think. People are starting to think that maybe we need to park our cash somewhere else. A lot of people are actually talking about actually parking their cash in brokerages account, because when you park your money into brokerages account, you actually get a lot higher than the standard 250,000 FDIC insured amount. So for example, if you somehow watching this have more than $250,000 from the United States, park it into the brokerage account. And of course, if you're watching from Singapore, okay, the FDIC insured in Singapore is only up to $75,000 per person. So if you do have more than $75,000 and you have it parked in a bank, park it in a brokerage for more insurance. Okay, but of course, if you do not have any good brokerages to go to, this is where my sponsor actually comes in. So if you head down to the description box down below, you can actually see the promoted link is for Webull. Webull is this fantastic brokerage app that I've been using since 2020. Okay, big fan of it. Although they were not in Singapore since 2020, I have been using the United States one just so that I can watch all these different stocks on this screen. Right now that they are finally in Singapore, I'm actually using them to actively trade a lot of my stocks and my options. The reason why Webull is one of the best brokerages in Singapore right now is because of the low fees. Option trades are basically cents. It only take about 20 cents per option trade. Whereas all the other brokerages that you want to go to, option fees can actually lead up to about $2 per contract. Very, very expensive. By the way, check out my link down below with my link to Webull. Alright, now let's go back to the banking industry. I think that the whole entire banking industry right now, a lot of people are not really trusting in the financial institution at the moment. But of course, even though we have the Federal Reserve actually coming out to say, oh, you know what, we're going to ensure that we are going to make depositors whole again, that doesn't really bring that much that kind of like bring down the concern level for people who are actually depositing. And like I said in all the other different videos, which is like for SVB, on the other hand, why it is so important that the depositors got made whole is because they are not supposed to be the one to actually make the proper research for them to see what bank to put their money into. The banks themselves should actually have the fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the money is actually well kept, and the regulators are supposed to be continuously checking on all these banks to see if their balance sheet are actually healthy, if they have a lot of toxic assets or not, things like that. It shouldn't be up to the depositors. So I think that the depositors getting bailed out like this, I don't exactly hate the idea, but of course, when you're talking about a bailout in general, a lot of people are going to be talking. Okay, so now we have to talk about the whole Credit Suisse situation. I'm pretty sure that was a huge hoo-ha in the entire industry as well. You got UBS coming in to buy Credit Suisse at like what, to 36? No, at 80 cents. 80 cents a share. It was horrible. Credit Suisse basically just went all the way down. For Credit Suisse that had such a rich history for banking, UBS basically just swoop in and get it at a very, very cheap price. So similarly, right now we actually have First Citizens actually coming in to because the FDIC have to actually arrange for a sale of the whole entire SVB, all their loans, all their deposits, all their different assets and things like that. And they got actually bought over by First Citizens. So Deutsche Bank. I think Deutsche Bank, on the other hand, they actually weren't actually in very, very huge danger or in grave danger for the Euro Bank side of things, but that actually affected the banking industry slightly. Okay, because when a lot of people are actually online talking about how Deutsche Bank is actually might be the next up and coming bank to actually fall. That actually created more and more panic, and then that eventually created more of an outflow than an inflow. And then, of course, the bank started to drop in shares, people start to be a little bit more worried. That all just kind of pile up on each other, and then, well, yeah, almost a bank run did happen, but of course, it did not happen. Deutsche Bank had to come out to reassure all those depositors, all those investors to say, look, we are in financial good health. We are not really that worried. If you do want to withdraw your money, go ahead. We're not worried. But of course, for Deutsche Bank, the whole entire panic did not really last because it only happened on Friday. And today, even for right now, Deutsche Bank is not exactly getting hit the hardest as it is. So now we have to now move on to the next topic, which is, will crypto actually take over this whole entire banking industry? Personally, right now, I'm just gonna be as candid as I can. Right now, Bitcoin prices are at Bitcoin currently is at $27,000. Okay, and I'll tell you why I don't think cryptocurrency will take over the whole entire currency. First of all, let's just take we have 7 billion people on the planet. Okay, for example, right now I would assume like 100 million people actually do have Bitcoin. If I want to be generous, I can go 200 million people have Bitcoin. You're talking about 7 billion people, okay? So there's still going to be a huge subset of people who have no access to Bitcoin. That's one thing, and there's this a large subset of people who do not even know what Bitcoin is. Okay, so not knowing what Bitcoin is and having access to Bitcoin, these are two huge barrier of entry for Bitcoin. Whereas fiat currency, it don't have to be the US dollar, it can be whatever country's currency as it is, because fiat currency as it is, there will be a standard board rate of exchange. So if you're talking about suddenly, we lost confidence in the banking industry and we are all gonna flood to crypto. Okay? Let's be honest here. If that was a genuine plan for how we want to do so, do you really think that Bitcoin will be at $27,000 though? I would assume Bitcoin will be back to like $80,000. Okay, if this bank contagion was the tipping of the iceberg, okay, the last edge, at the last point of a defense, for example, okay, I would imagine that this would be the biggest catalyst point for anyone to argue that say that, all right, this is why we want to get into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is so useful, because Bitcoin is able to solve all these problems that the financial institutions are not solving. Bitcoin has so much transparency that we are able to solve everything that the regulators are not doing for the financial institution. That is literally the biggest catalyst that we can expect for Bitcoin. But all it did was go up by what, $5,000? So I don't know. I think if you actually look at the history of Bitcoin, they went all the way to $70,000. I would assume and back then at $70,000, okay, we did not have a bank contagion or even anywhere close to a bank contagion. Right now, everyone is panicking. Everyone wants to take out their money. Everyone is worried about their money. Everyone is worried about assets. People are not trusting in the financial institution. This is literally the time for you to put your money into crypto, and crypto is not going up. So what does that actually tells you? It means that the people who are in crypto at the moment are actually just buying and selling. Let's be honest, I am guilty for that as well. I actually got into crypto. At first, I actually thought that was a very, very good future use case. And then afterwards, I realized that it was a little bit too early. I think that for crypto as a currency, cryptocurrency as a whole, for them to actually have a huge use case, we are way too early. We are like, 10 years too early, I believe. Probably in the next major recession, after the one that we are going to be having in this year, maybe for the next major recession that we might be having, that will be the one where crypto actually shines to be the top of the barrel. I'm not sure. Okay, but right now I don't think at this current juncture, cryptocurrency as a whole is going to be that big of a winner. Okay, because people are just trading. Right now, cryptocurrency as a whole is not serving any other purpose than to make someone else richer than the other. Okay, because if today you are buying $28,000 per Bitcoin, okay, your hope is to be able to sell at $30,000 per Bitcoin to someone else. So the whole entire point of the game is to see who is left holding the bag. Okay, there is no point in this. It's not as if like, oh, I'm buying the Bitcoin because I am pretty sure that in 3 years' time, the United States, maybe in one of the states, we are going to have a Bitcoin ATM. We're going to ensure that this is going to be a legal tender in some of the shops. There's no such movement of a catalyst for how Bitcoin can suddenly go to the moon, or cryptocurrency as a whole to go to the moon. We don't have any of this. And let's not forget that just last year alone, we got the FTX issue, we got the Terra Luna issue, we got all your different brokerages that for crypto going under. Okay, and let's not forget what actually started this whole entire bank contagion was Silvergate, which is also a crypto bank. So honestly, is crypto really that safe? I'm not sure. Okay, but I can tell you that crypto is definitely transparent. Is it safe though? I'm not sure. Okay, but anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.